Hello, my name is Kelly, and today I'll be presenting on Percival Everett's James, not as a retelling of Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn, but as a complete reimagining of the novel, its narrative, and the archetypes within. We'll find that Everett's purpose is to confront how traditional archetypes reflect and reinforce racial ideologies and stereotypes in American literature and, more importantly, in American culture. So, first, what are archetypes? Archetypes are recurring characters or symbols that tend to reflect our deep cultural beliefs. Carl Jung called them a part of our collective unconscious, and it's a lens by which we're able to perceive and interact with the world. He classifies 12 types, but we'll focus on the three most common that we tend to see in traditional American literature. The first of the three is that of the hero or rugged individualist. This character is often portrayed as the white protagonist, that defies social norms and finds his own path. He's independent, he's courageous, he overcomes challenges, and this often reflects an inner moral evolution that he goes through during his journey. Twain presents Huck uniquely as this character type, as the main character who recognizes the wrong in helping Jim, at least by his society's standards of the time, and yet he does it anyway. The novel tracks him as he experiences moral and individual growth throughout the novel. The second type that we see is that of the loyal slave. This character is often portrayed as black, faithful, passive, docile. He's self-sacrificing in his devotion to white characters at the price of his own dignity and sometimes his own well-being. Twain's Jim reflects his character type 100%. He's kind, childlike, and superstitious, but he exists solely as an extension of Huck's personal journey forward by teaching Huck moral lessons. He lacks depth, independence, autonomy, and ultimately he performs as what Morrison highlights as the mediation of white innocence. Finally, the third type that we see is that of the innocent. This character is often portrayed as a child who embodies purity and virtue. They tend to be faultless. They act as a moral contrast to adult corruption in novels. They're optimistic and they tend to see the good in people and in the world. Twain again presents Huck as this character type, as he is portrayed as uncorrupted. He's naturally good-hearted, a person who instinctively means well, and although he's a child, he still questions the morals of the adults that surround him. It's important to realize the transition here, that Everett, he sees all this and he rejects all these archetypes completely. He makes his statement on Black identity and individuality through James's character, while highlighting social contradictions and deeply embedded racial myths through his interactions with other white characters, especially that of Huck. So we'll see that James in Everett's novel is the complete opposite of Jim in Twain's. Everett refuses to allow James to remain this powerless, downtrodden background character. He's rewritten as the protagonist who's fully capable of writing his own story. James is literate, highly intellectual, he's self-aware, he's strategic, he feigns ignorance solely to survive. He has philosophical depth and he utilizes irony. He rejects being reduced to a stereotype and he demands his humanity. He even says to himself that he will be no one's metaphor. It's important to see also that Everett confronts the traditional ideas behind Huck as well. Huck, his innocence no longer functions as a redemptive quality for him. He's unreliable as a moral guide, and oftentimes his good intentions do fall short. And he tends to still benefit from the oppressive system he attempts to resist. Lastly, it's important in closing to realize how imperative it is to understand Everett's objective in his reimagining of Huck Finn. His exposing and subverting of these literary archetypes push us to confront the deeply embedded literary myths that continue to inform some part of how our society operates in regard to Black identity and experience. These archetypes echo in the stereotypes we still hold on to today. For example, the violent, dangerous Black man, the loyal helper, the white savior. Everett postulates that exposure is the foundation to intervention here. His solutions that the first step is exposure, to dismantle, and then to move forward in rebuilding and redefining who we truly are as not only a people, but as a society. These are my citations, and thank you.